Dariye, and the topic for discussion this morning is an autopsy of presidential pardon for corrupt, convicted governors. And we have in the studio with me Dr. Michael Afolayan, legal practitioner, notary public, and head of Department of the Business and Industrial Law Department, Ekiti State University. And Doctor, just before we go, we're talking about the morality involved in the decision of President Muhammadu Buhari. Yes. But now we've stepped aside to study that. Now, let's look at other legal options. Are there ways that people are there ways that people can appeal this at the courts? And can we have situations where people appeal presidential pardons given by presidents or governors? Can they be contested in the court of law? Are there any legal options to truncate these pardons given by presidents and governors?
Well, I'm not aware of any previous actions to challenge either the president or the governor for granting pardons in Nigeria before now. But that does not mean, or it is not to say, that steps cannot be taken. But if such steps will be taken, then it will have to be that such a person is contesting that the constitutional provision has not been complied with. You definitely cannot go to court to challenge the moral aspect of it. No, you can't. But you can, well, if you have the opinion that the legal step, it may be, for example, a president grants such pardon without consulting with the Council of States, well, you may say he has not complied with the provisions of the Constitution. Or probably he consulted the Council of the States, but the Council of States were not warm towards it. Probably majority of them said no, even though there is no rule that says that majority or no majority, all that the Constitution says is advice. But we have had situations where people challenge such a thing so that the Constitution is put to test. And then that may also call the attention of the lawmakers to look at that aspect. But, technically speaking, he has complied with the constitutional provision. We can only begin to challenge
the moral standard. Our Constitution also, do you think that also forms, does it show that we have a lacuna in our Constitution?
Yes.
Because when we look at the gravity of the crimes committed by these persons, holding in positions of trust for government, embezzling government funds, monies meant for taxpayers' monies meant for roads and other projects. It could be hospitals, it could be amenities, social amenities for the people of the state. But these people have abused this trust and they were convicted and tried and given jail terms only to be let off the hook, like we said earlier, after all the work put in by the anti-graft agencies.
Yes.
So at some point, let's start to ask, is there no area where public interest and public outcry can override a presidential pardon given by a president, or prerogative of mercy given by a president or the state governor?
Well, I agree with you. Any law at all, and including the Constitution, is made for the people and not the people for the Constitution. And so one of the primary, characteristics of a law is change. You can change a law, and we call it amendment or repeal or reenacting other ones. So, and that is where the argument against this Constitution comes again. I've been on the program here before where I said I favor having a fresh Constitution. Don't forget that this Constitution was a decree 24 made by the former head of state, Abdulsalam Abubakar, when he was to hand over to the civilian, to President Obasanjo. And that's the Constitution we are still using it today. And that's why Femi Falana has always criticized that document as being a decree, that we should give to ourselves the Constitution that the people actually want. Now, this particular aspect of a prerogative of mercy has called into question the Constitution again. Ordinarily, that provision should not have any problem, because the Constitution have in mind, those that have drafted the Constitution, they had in mind that those that will occupy such positions, that the people we elect to such position will be people of high moral standing, who will do the right thing at all times, who will not allow their political interest to becloud them in reaching a decision as to the morality or otherwise of a particular step. And so now that we now have a situation where it's like we have thrown moral into the trash bin, and then we may have to look at it again, because there may be need to now begin to envisage that we may have a leader who will not consider the morality, or who will not consider, the integrity of whatever he's doing. So we may have to begin to look at specifying or stating in that provision, even if we are going to retain a prerogative of mercy in the Constitution, we may have to now begin to state what kind of offenses a president can grant pardon on. We may state them there. For example, it may be stated that those who have been found to have been convicted of offenses that has to do with fraud, embezzlement of state funds, or whatever, are not to be granted. It may be specifically stated there. Or probably it is only those who have served out their punishments, probably their that are granted. Because when you look at the different persons that have been granted pardon in this country, for example, DSP Alamaseya, by the time you look at all of those persons that were granted pardon, even though it was, I think, within 2 years of him being granted pardon, he died because he had a serious ailment. But that was also not a justification. So that calls to question the need to look again at the Constitution, either to rewrite another one, or to begin to, but this one that we amend here, amend there, and I think yes, of course, because yes, the basis of the current Constitution is very, very questionable, and so we need to give to the people something that they will be proud of.
The phone lines are very much active at this point. 08039771069. That's 08039771069. You can also join the conversation on 081-1198-1069. I'll take that again. 081-1198-1069. Hello, good morning. Good morning. Your name and where you're calling us from, please.
This is Mr. Ochegun from Madrid.
Your contributions, please.
I think, like the analysts have said, there is no moral justification for it granted to respect government, because it can send a very wrong message to all other prospective politicians, and it can send a very wrong signal. And like he has said, it will also dampen the morale of the EFCC. Remember that these people, now they prosecuted these people right from the High Court to the Agri Court to the Supreme Court. And then at the end of the day, all their time and money wasted comes to nothing at the end of the day. What type of message are we giving, or what type of encouragement are we giving to our security agencies to go after corrupt politicians? Thank you. Good morning.
Thank you so much for your contributions. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
This is from the Funke.
Good morning.
My take on this issue will be totally different. We are talking about moral justification. Then we are talking about he has the right. Something in this country, whether you went to jail for 1 day, you are a former, you will be regarded as a former convict. That's it. So my own take on the issue of those people that convicted me, it's not in vain, because they really serve, but they don't really stand in here. And they say, and I want to go a bit religious this morning. They say no sin is too grievous to forgive. The notorious armed robber, murderer, stealing, went to heaven with our Lord Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ forgave him. Then one thing I want to advise the people, we should just whether if he has the right, he doesn't have the right. What we should say is that all the money looted, whatever aspect, they use have a why, you will see from them, tell them, put it in the government cover, make sure they pay for everything they are stolen, spend all their property. That's true. It doesn't mean whether it should have moral, it doesn't mean anything.
Thank you so much.
Thank
you so much for your contribution. Okay. You want to react to that?
Yes, I want to react to that. You see, I think the last caller got something wrong. Probably she didn't understand anyway. When a person is granted pardon, it becomes like Naaman, who went into that river bath and became clean. Once you are granted pardon, the issue of ex-convict does not arise again. His record is cleaned. He becomes as whole as he was before he committed the offense. So everything, you cannot call him an ex-convict again. No, you can't, because he has been pardoned. Once he's pardoned, that issue came up in the case of Falai and Obasanjo, and the court said there is no difference between pardon and full pardon. That once a person is pardoned, he become, in the eyes of the law, he is cleansed and is as innocent as if he had never committed the crime. So
that brings up the question of monies that were looted. What then happens to the monies that were looted?
He has served the punishment. It is the the court pronounces on that. Once the court says go to prison for so, if the court did not say refund so amount, then he has served the punishment that the court gave to him. You can't ask for money again.
From callers on the other side. Hello, good morning. Your name and where you're calling us from, please. Bamidele, good morning. Your contribution.
Thank you. Good morning.
The intention might not be what presented like the right constitution. What the issue is that what the person has said before, you are sending the wrong signal to people. You sending the side who are ignorant. You sending the side who are ignorant. The signal is terrible. And it was a government that came into power on this issue of anti-corruption. The only incident that people not talk to political people, they don't look at the institution in the market and to the content itself. It is terrible. The person should have done that and terrible. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for your contributions there. Hello, good morning. Good morning. Hello, good morning. You're live, please. We're not getting feedback from that end. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Mr.
Your name and where you're calling us from. Your contributions, please.
As you all know, corruption is one of the major problems that this country is facing. The kind of pardon which Mr. President gave to two former governors being convicted and found guilty of corruption, I describe this as elective and political. Mr. President should have not granted this pardon. If he should have freed all the prisoners that have been jailed for stealing. Now, I have a question for the president. This kind of pardon, he gives room to others. He gives room to the people to involve in the management of funds and investment. Now, the kind of this kind of pardon, what is the negative effect to the society? That's my question. Thank you.
Well, I believe one of the negative effects to it is the first one we said, that it will dampen the morale of the law enforcement agents. Number two, it sends a wrong signal about Nigeria, the seriousness of this country to fight graft to the global community. Yes, to the global community. So they will take us that we are not serious. Number three, it encourages the potential thieves. Don't forget that it is said, I think I heard it somewhere, that those who are queuing up to embezzle Nigeria fund, they are more than those who are currently embezzling it now. So there are so many people queuing to embezzle funds. So if they see this, in fact, most of the time you will see that these people will not fight their case in court again, because they know that the hope is somewhere where they can get the pardon if eventually they are even convicted. So they know that they have another bite at the cherry. So it kind of make a rubbish of the whole thing. So pardon, the power to pardon should be rarely. It should be something that is rarely used. Maybe for those who are convicted of for political reasons, because they may rope somebody in and things like that, but not for something that for an offense that is this prevalent, in Nigeria.
Now let's look at these states also involved in all of this, because there has to be some respite for these people whose funds were embezzled. And at this point, with your submission here, it seems these monies have just gone into thin air.
Well,
and are there avenues which the state machinery can also employ to get to retrieve these funds that were stolen by corrupt rulers?
Technically speaking, no. if you arraign him again now, if you go after him that you want to get that money, there is something that we call a rule against double jeopardy in Nigeria. He has suffered the conviction. He has gone to jail. He has been pardoned. You cannot go to that issue again. You cannot go to that crime again. He has been wiped clean, and you cannot go back to it. You cannot arraign, except he embezzle another fund, though, and you want to take him up on that. But that one forever. In fact, in the case of Okongo and the state, it was held that a free pardon had the effect of erasing all sufferings, consequences, and punishment whatsoever that the said conviction may ensure, but not to wipe out the conviction. The only thing that is left is, when he was convicted, that judgment will be in a record. They cannot go to that record to expunge it. No, it will be there on the record. But the effect of that conviction on him, it has been wiped out.
Wiped out completely.
Yes.
Let me take more reactions before we go on today's edition. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, Mr. Adamidele.
Your name and where you're calling us from.
This is White from Adekiti.
Your contributions, please.
Thank you very much. Let me first of all welcome our guest in the house this morning.
Thank you.
And on that day of giving presidential pardon to these ex-convicts, two governors, well, to me, I don't see anything that is bad in that or wrong. Because this is constitutional. The other mentioned something of constitutional, and he provided if Mr. President has informed the Council of State based on their advice. And this was given. The Council of State sat, they met on this issue, and they gave exactly their advice that it should be pardoned. The former President Goodluck Jonathan was there. Former head of state government, General Yakubu Gowon was there, among others. So now that has been given pardon, now we are talking about the money being looted and all the properties being recovered. I thought before they were being arraigned, they confiscated most of their properties, both cash and some other things. Where are those looted, recovered money that they recovered from them? Then again, let us talk about other political officers that is still outside there. The FCC took them to court. Their case could not be handed in any place. They are just being paraded themselves up and down now. Don't let these people be pardoned and go to their house because the other political officers that are there. Their cases are not been mentioned. Nothing has done so far for the past 8 years. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your contributions there. Well, that's exactly the point made by this local luminary Femi Falana SCN, asking that everybody should be given fair hearing.
Yeah.
And that was what is on the backs on Friday. I'll take one more call before we round up for today's edition. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir. Lawrence from Ifaki.
Lawrence from
I
Ifaki.
just want to ask a question. If one of these rogues, in future they want to become a president, what will happen?
He's asking
Yes, of course. If tomorrow they can contest to be president of this country, and nothing will stop them. President Obasanjo was once convicted. He was pardoned. He later became the president. So nothing stops them. You can't even raise it that he's an ex-convict. No, they can still come back to that same state to be governor again, and that is it.
Well, that's it for these two governors. Well, that's what you can take on today's edition of the program. Here's hoping that, like you said earlier on, people be on us to make sure that we elect leaders who have moral standing. Definitely, these constitutions are meant.
It's meant to be implemented by somebody who is of high moral standard.
Well, that's what you can take on today's edition of Viewpoints on Fresh 106.9 FM. The topic has been an autopsy of presidential pardon for corrupt convicted governors in light of the recent pardons granted by President Muhammadu Buhari to two convicted ex-governors who convicted of stealing between 1.6 and 1.62 billion naira, but then have been granted safe pardons on the prerogative of mercy on the basis of their age and time spent at the well, it seems so dramatic, but then the president has spoken, and he is still the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and has full powers as granted by
if I have a minute, the only thing that I feel we have not discussed here is who makes the application. You see, there are times that judges, they will pronounce judgment on someone. Probably the person has committed a wrong against the law, and then their hands are tied. But they saw that it was not really that this person should be, that it was the circumstances that led to his committing the offense. The court will still go ahead to pronounce that punishment on him. But there are times that such judges may now make an application to the governor or to the president that although by law this person is found to have committed to have committed this crime, but so circumstances, I'm of the opinion that you should grant him pardon. So at times it comes from judges, at times it comes from the accused person, the convict himself. He may write, I've served my punishment, I'm now a reformed person. In fact, after I got to the prison, I met a lot of persons and I decided to change for the better. I've come back to the society, I've influenced the society. We have seen prisoners who come out to begin to campaign against crime. And so after some time, such a person or somebody may write on his behalf that this person is now a reformed person. He has done a lot for the country. Please grant him pardon. Let this thing be wiped. Those are the reasons for pardon, not for political acolytes. Because what you will now find is that people will now be towing the line of the president, so that at least if anything happens, or if you are in the other party, you quickly jump to his party so that you can get a pardon if eventually you are convicted.
Thank you so much for joining me on today's edition of the program, Dr. Michael Afolayan.
Thank you very much.
Legal practitioner, notary public, and head of department of the business and industrial law, Ekiti State University. Thank you so much for joining me on today's
I'm
edition
glad.
of the program.
Thanks for having me.
Also, we'll come your way on Wednesday with another edition of Viewpoint Fresh 106.